Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. I'm your host, Shaz. Today, we're going to be talking about something most people don't really see coming into the spiritual journey, but it's a topic that's real, necessary, and often very uncomfortable. It's the spiritual ego. Now, everyone has an ego, and the way you perceive it is different depending on whether you consider it a good or a bad thing. Many people teach you throughout the spiritual journey that we actually need to kill the ego. That is not the case. Without the ego, we don't have that strive for better, that strive for greatness or perfection or the desire to go and be everything we need. Ego is essential to us, but it is important that we don't allow the ego to overstep the mark, to get caught up in its own importance, and to find itself the creator of who we are. The ego is there to uplift us, support us, and guide our journey along the way, not to overtake and give us a superiority complex. It is a really powerful thing when you open up to your spirituality and you start to realize that you have this gift. You can see things into the future. You know more than other people around you. You are connected to beings, whether you can see them, feel them, sense them, or know them, that other people can't necessarily do in the same way that you can. But that doesn't make you any better or higher than anybody else. There is too much talks of levels out there in the way that we say that this skill is better. Most people strive for clairvoyance because you get to see everything. It doesn't make it any better to be clairvoyant compared to claircognizant, clairaudient, or clairsentient. Each gift is important. A lot of people think that psychics is just people that know the future. Intuition isn't that great. And then they strive to go and be the medium, the interconnector between our world and the heavenly space. But each role has its importance, and nobody is better than anybody else. I don't care how long you've studied, how much mastery you've done. Don't let your spiritual ego get in the way. We are here to strive for excellence of self only. We are not here to strive to be the best in the world at what we do. We are here to master our own soul, our own growth, and our own journey. We are here to master the skills of intuition and connection and the four clairs and all the essence of connection and communication with God, source, the universe, angels, whatever you want to call the beings that we communicate with. And that's what it is. The medium is the person in the middle. That is what the term means. We are the gateway between the spirit world and the 3D to 5D earth plane. We are the communicator. We're just the middleman. We're no more important than anybody else. I don't care how high your channel is, what beings you communicate with, how many years experience you have. You are not more important than God. None of us are God. Many of us like to think we're like God. And that is when the spiritual ego overtakes common sense and gets in the way. And it literally just tells you when you come across people who are telling you how great they are and that they're better and comparing themselves to other people, that they have not done the inner healing or confronted their own shadow. The only person in this entire world you need to be better than tomorrow than you were of today is yourself. There is no use comparing yourself to anybody else on the planet. No two souls are alike. Yes, in this world, we strive for competition everywhere. Everyone wants to be number one. Everyone wants to be the absolute best. But I can tell you from previous experience, watching the world around me and seeing other people go through it, that the more you highlight yourself and get into the egotistical frame of mind, telling everybody how wonderful you are, the greater the chance your higher self is going to seat you on your ass, or God will intervene. And I've seen it time and time again where powerful mediums, spiritualists, and other powerful people lose everything, disconnect from their gift, create massive mental health problems, and go through more and more trauma. Ultimately, when you move into a spiritual life and you awaken to the greatness of all that there is, it is a healing journey. You are here to learn. You are here to evolve and grow within your soul. You are here to master your lessons, not anybody else's. Yes, you are here to guide them and you are here to support and enable them along their journey, but you are not the only one that can tell them the only way they can get there. I'm forever telling clients and friends and family, I'm not God. I am not the only person you want to come to answers for. You want to seek outside resources. You want to find multiple people telling you the same thing, or even better. None of us have all the answers. The Dalai Lama doesn't have all the answers. Jesus didn't have all the answers. That is why he became a service to man. That is why he became the healer of who he is in order to master life. Most of the time when we have all the answers is when we ascend back to spirit, when we go back to the spiritual realm. And that is exactly how Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon come to become archangels. They were first men who walked the earth. Their mastery happened partially on earth, definitely not through their ego, but through service. Their mastery happened of learning to heal themselves, to guide others to that journey, to release judgment, to not compare to other people, and to live life according to their soul and the inner guidance that lies within them. That is what life is all about. So we're going to take a deep dive into this journey. And I'm going to share with you what this spiritual ego is and how it can show up, what happens when you fall into the trap of superiority, and how your higher self can trigger and become more involved by literally setting you on the ass and stopping you from progressing. Okay? The spiritual ego is a subtle form of ego that shows up after you awaken. It's where you tap into the energy of, oh my God, I'm so good because I brought through this person, or I said this and I made this prediction and it happened. Okay? We all have the possibility and probability of predicting things or projection of energy to make things happen. Everybody has the ability. That's what manifestation is. But we can't claim it. We're the messenger, the medium, the go-between. We are the vice that spirit uses to get the message across that comes from a higher source power. Every message I deliver, it is not me. I am just the messenger. That's exactly what angels are too. Did you know that? Their name literally means messengers of God. We share, impart wisdom and knowledge that we learn, but it's not from ourselves. And I know personally, I used to think that I was really intelligent, and because I had all these answers and I could tap into collective consciousness and this amazing knowing of wonderful things. And I took that great kick up the ass from my higher self that turned around and said, you're not as smart as you think you are. It was a harsh lesson, let me tell you. I didn't like hearing it, but I did succumb to spiritual ego. I knew lots of things that would happen. I'd get on my high horse when clients would come back and tell me how exactly what I said panned out in their life. But it wasn't about that. And spiritual connection and the awakening to the greater consciousness of all is definitely not about that. It's not about what you can impart to others. It's about what you can heal, how you can grow within yourself. We are the master creators of our reality. We are here to learn from everyone without judgment, without criticism, without ego. People are here to teach us, and we're here to teach them. We do not have all the answers. Nobody does. Nobody can ever claim to have all the answers to everything. It is impossible. Even God does not share everything with us. I don't care how connected you are. You could be the Pope. You could be anyone. He does not give you every single insight to everything in life. Quite frankly, it takes away the joy and the spontaneity and the lesson within it. That's why we choose to incarnate on earth, because we want to learn. We want to grow through adversity. We want to change and evolve. We want to experience the opposite side, the yin yang, the balance, the equality. The only problem is that we get stuck in our own ego self, whether it's spiritual ego or the general ego, of things happen to us and we claim the great things, but we never fully acknowledge how we manufactured and created the bad things that happened to us too. That is a factor of life. We are the master creators of everything that we go through. It's up to us how we choose to deal with it. The spiritual ego shows up in simple phrases like, "Oh, I already knew that." Always be open-minded. Even when you think you know what somebody is talking about, pay attention and listen. There are subtleties in interpretation, in perspective, in understanding, and in people's journeys. There are no two souls on earth, even twins, that go through exactly the same experience in exactly the same way. There are subtleties, there are differences, there are nuances in that we need to pay attention to. You may think you know it all, but trust me, nobody really does. That is why we have inspiration, innovation, and so much new invention in this world all the time. You've all seen it in life where multiple people come up with the same message, the same story, or the same inspiration at the same time. It happens all over the world. It's up to us what we do with that inspiration and that innovation. It is implanted as seeds in our thoughts for us to act on, but it doesn't make us special or any better than anybody else. Everybody has access to intuition and psychic ability. It's up to you how much you master it. It's through the spiritual ego that we truly find our greatest gifts. Because when you acknowledge that you are here to learn from masters outside of self, yes, I tell you all the time the answers are inside of you, but they get activated by others. Whether it's through being triggered and judged, criticized, or made to think about true self, or whether it's through inspiration and guidance from beings and people who have traveled and transversed a journey similar to your own before you. There are many pioneers in this world in many levels of life. It's up to us how we choose to become that. The ironic part is the people who are really, really up there and are probably number one in most of the fields or categories of whatever you want to call it, they are usually the most humble of beings. Most of the greatest mediums that I know will tell you it's not them, it is the connection they have with their guides, their angels, and the people and beings who bring the messages through them. They are just the deliverance, the medium in between. The medium is literally the person in the middle. We open gateways and portals and energy and frequencies to connect with others. That is the important factor. Nobody is more awakened than anybody else. Even the Dalai Lama and some of the great spiritual teachers out there will tell you they're not more awakened than we are. They may be more honest with where they're at, but they all struggled to get there. None of this comes easy. The teachings of it are harsh. Many of the people that go on to be monks leave behind turmoil and tragedy to go and sit in meditation and stillness to find that peace, serenity, and to come back to the soul essence. It is certainly a journey. You are never beyond other people, and you have no right to judge anybody else. Until you can walk a mile in someone else's shoes, you never know what they've been through. You can try to understand, but you have to listen to understand, not listen to advise. The big thing that happens a lot when people awaken spiritually is they stop listening to understand someone's perspective, but listen to try and tell you how much they know better. Nobody knows better than anybody else. We don't put labels on people. When you start saying that they're low vibrational and they're stuck in victimhood or they're doing this and that, from a judgment perspective of you being more superior, that is your spiritual ego. When you are saying things like that in order to help and guide them, you need to do it in subtle ways that is not going to trigger them and is not passing judgment, but rather showing them the way of how to elevate beyond that. That is your role as a spiritual awakened being. We are here to pioneer the way forward for others, to help awaken others, to help shed light on scenarios that are too dark for us to understand, to guide and serve. This is a journey of service. It is not a journey about you and self. It is how you can be of service to God, Jesus, the angels, spirit, to whatever entities you want to talk about or call them. You are the medium, the go-between, the messenger, the human format of that person that is the deliverance of the message. You don't make up the message. It is passed down to you from others. Be mindful of that. The ego in itself doesn't die automatically when you awaken. It just evolves. It shifts through things. You start to heal. You start to let go of old stories. You start to confront your shadow. You start to be truly authentic. You stop hiding from things that caused you pain. You stop hiding away and becoming something that you didn't really want to be. You evolve. You understand your lessons and you master them in order not to repeat. One of the simple facts of life that most people don't get, and it is quite frankly the meaning of life in many ways, we are here to master lessons in order not to repeat them or to pass them on. We are here to evolve through them, to become better because of them, not to repeat and to puppeteer what happened to us onto other people. Many of us don't master that in time. Many of us struggle with that. But that is usually one of the first core signs of when people do start to awaken spiritually. I don't want to pass this on to my children. I don't want to do this to another person. I certainly do not want anybody else in the world to feel like this. These are the statements that you will find within self when you are ready to awaken, when you start to believe there is more to life than what you've been through, when you start to realize the strength and the growth that you've had despite what happened to you, where you start to leave behind your victimhood. And the best part is then you start truly to believe in your gifts, in those synchronicities, in the signs, in the symbols, in what you hear, in what you feel, in what you know, in the angelic presence that's never, ever away from us. Everybody's born with a guardian angel. They are with us our whole lives, but they're restricted by free will. When you awaken spiritually, you start to ask them and communicate with them and tell them what you need, and they certainly show up for you. So slow your mind down. Take a moment, put your hands on your heart and take a deep breath in. Feel the presence of your angels around you. Feel the connected energy of this great universe. Feel the power inside of you and the collective vibration outside of you. We all can. We can all master it, but none of us own it. We just have to remember who we truly are. We are source spirit. We are connected to God. We're connected to God. We are not God. God shares with us what we're able to listen, absorb, learn, and what we're ready for. And through our growth, through our evolution and our ascension, we get greater acknowledgement and wisdom from that. It's shared wisdom. It's not learned or personal wisdom. It's collective and it's growth inducing wisdom that is meant to be shared with others from the source. When you've slipped into spiritual ego, there are many signs. They can show up loud and proud, or they can be very, very subtle. the first thing you want to pay attention to is your judgment of others. Yes, we do it all the time. I'm better than them, or they're not doing the right thing, or it's meant to be done this way, or my way is the only way. It's my way or the highway is a favorite saying that my mother used to say. And I used to question it. I used to get into a lot of trouble for doing so. But I had the same at school. It is this way. It's the way it's always been done. But just because it's always been done doesn't make it the only way or the best way to do it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have growth in any way, shape, or form. Most of the growth comes from bucking the system, from stepping back and saying there has to be a different way to do things. That is where we create innovation. That is where most of our inventions come from. Be careful and mindful of when you start judging others of being less aware or less awake of you. I know I've done it in the past, and nobody likes the term sheep and how they are like living blind and they don't know what's going on. It's not our job to judge them. It's our job to enlighten them. You cannot force anyone to awaken spiritually. It's not your job to criticize or tell them they're sheep or that they're going to be left behind or it doesn't work this way. It's your job to subtly induce thought-provoking information and wisdom to them so they can awaken. As a soul, the greatest gift every soul has when they come down to the earth 3D plane is the gift of free will. You cannot force anything on anyone. They have to want to do it. So don't judge those who aren't as awakened or healed. That is not necessarily their soul journey. Yes, the world would be wonderful and utopia if everybody awakened, understood the purpose of it all, and there was harmony everywhere. But quite frankly, would everyone grow? Would we ascend? Would we evolve? Would we experience all those deep feelings we really want to experience? The answer is no. Earth wouldn't be Earth without the dichotomy of all the difference of opinion and the different thinking that's out there. Variety is the spice of life. There are no two souls, as I said, that go through life exactly the same journey, even when they live and grow up in the same household. Perspective is everything. The lens you look at things through is everything. Don't judge others without walking in their shoes. And trust me, it's totally impossible to do. You will never understand somebody else's journey as completely as they do, because you're not filtering it through the same lens. And that is an awareness and awakened aspect that you need to understand. How they came to be. Yes, some of souls are more evolved than others. Some are more aware, some are more insightful or mindful and able to grow and able to grasp depth and other nuances of subtle things. Many aren't, and that's okay. That's why we're humans. We are here for the variety of life, the context and contrast of all the differences. It's up to each individual how they choose to master it. Spiritual ego shows up when you also start giving unsolicited advice. One of my great personal bugbears, and I really try to be mindful and masterful of not allowing it to get to me, but it's an integrity aspect for me. I don't read anyone's energy without permission. Without express permission of tapping into somebody else's vibration, their aura, their energy, it's disrespectful. And it's literally a version of spying or learning things that you're not meant to learn. Consent is absolute key in this scenario. Don't read into somebody else's vibration unless they ask you to. Don't invade their privacy. It's like reading their journal or their diary without permission. And as horrible as it sounds, I call it energetic rape. It is literally causing traumatic harm. We don't have the right to do it. And trust me, there are karmic aspects and decisions that get made in that instance when you do that, and retribution exists. The ironic part is you think it comes from outside world. It's created by your own unconscious mind. You'll punish yourself for it later. Even if you deny it at the beginning, Your unconscious mind will find a way to make you pay for doing the wrong thing that goes against the soul, that goes against universal law. You cannot also, when you awaken, start to reject human emotions. We start to say things like, oh, that doesn't exist, or this isn't real, and you don't know what you're on about. Okay? Anger and sadness and low vibration is all there. We are meant to feel them. We are meant to go through the different gamuts of emotion on all levels at different times in life. You cannot deny their existence. It will create disease within the body. We're meant to sit with it, allow it to pass through, and give it time to process and to find mastery with that. We learn from anger and sadness. We learn from grief. We learn from loss. We actually learn so much more through tragedy than we ever do through triumph. That's why there's so many triumph over tragedy stories out there. Do you know the most greatest things in the world would never have come if people didn't go through great hardship beforehand and decide they wanted to fix it? It is the mother of all invention. The spiritual ego also shows up in the need to be seen as wise or special, as different to other people. Okay, we don't need to be validated by our spirituality. We don't need to have labels on who and what we are. We don't need other people to worship us. We are not meant to become an idol or a sub-god. That is not what life's all about. We are here to master our own self, heal through our own journey, have great interaction with other souls, and interact, change, and help each other grow. To learn. Earth is literally the school of learning. Whenever you feel someone doesn't get it, instead of thinking they don't get it, try asking yourself, are you explaining it in a way that is comprehensible to them? Or is it their job to get it? Or is it your job to understand not everybody has to think the same as you? When you start to really realize that the spiritual ego exists, you start to let go and find that inner peace of you can impart your wisdom. And one of my favorite sayings when I teach people, this is my version of life. I don't care, give or take it. If you don't want to believe it and don't want to carry it forward and you want to let it go, I'm not offended, because my truth doesn't have to be your truth. As I said, it's all about perspective. The spiritual ego shows up also when you dismiss other people's pain or see them as being beneath you. Everybody on this earth, no matter of their status or stature, is equal. We are all from the same source energy, and we need to be treated like that. Money is the great inequalizer. We give great status to people with lots of money and no status to people with none, when it's actually the people that have none who are the greatest innovators in the world. Most people that are really rich now did start from poor backgrounds or with nothing. That is what they needed to start with in order to find all the creative energy within it. Those born into riches usually find ways to lose it and let it go, and they certainly don't have it generations later because they don't have to work hard for it. It's through hard work and adversity that we do have the greatest growth. As I mentioned, one of the biggest things the spiritual ego has to let go of is the idea that your way is the only way. Nobody knows all of the ways things happen in life. Nobody has all the answers. These lessons are not about shame, they're about awareness. They are here to bring you to awareness and ask yourself, is your judgment and criticism of someone else part of your ego? What is that judgment and criticism of them telling you? For we only ever judge and criticize other people for things that we see within ourselves. They are the mirror reflecting back to aspects of self. Whatever you don't like in someone else is what you don't like about self. So return that image to self, that judgment, that thought, that criticism, that frequency. What are you saying about them, and how can it then reflect or impact what you think about yourself? Be very mindful of what you see in others. It's one of the funny things, and I probably mentioned it in a previous episode when I was talking about the narcissist relationship and the empath. A lot of empaths end up with narcissists because they don't see narcissism because they don't have any and they don't therefore know what it is. They only learn about it later. It's not up to us to tell them. Everybody has to go through their own journey for their own soul lessons. Because if you interrupt their karma and interrupt their pattern, you are taking on that journey and that lesson for self. And trust me, that is not something you want to be doing. Been there, done that, and it's not pleasant. It's because I didn't know any better. But now I've learned it. You have to let people step back and come to their own understanding. You can't tell them how to live their life. You can't make them any more aware, awake, or available to that information until they are ready. Yes, you can subtly introduce it. Yes, you can guide them towards it, but you can't force it on them. Dealing with a spiritual ego is really about learning how to stay grounded and humble. The easiest way to do this is, and I have a couple of coaches that taught me this, and it's always to stay learning and always be the student. Even when you've done a course before or you've studied this before, please go into any new education place, any new awareness place with a beginner's mind. Don't go in there going, this is the way I've always done it. It's the only way it can be done. Go in there with an open mind and a beginner's mind to learn and see if their way can work too. There's always 100 ways to skin a cat, right? Just because you know that your way works doesn't mean that their way isn't something that shifts, that subtle changes, that can be better. We learn from many, many masters. There are many teachers in this world. Have an open mind and always be up for learning. Every single day, I choose to learn something new. If it doesn't happen naturally, I go searching for something that I don't know. We are, after all, in the school of earth. Our goal as a soul is to forever learn. It is what keeps us here and it keeps our soul living. The minute we stop learning and we think we know everything is the minute that the higher self and the soul decides, well, I'm done on earth, I might as well go home. Okay, everybody in this life has something to teach you, especially children. We think as adults we're here to teach them. Let me tell you, they are the greatest levelers on this earth. They come with more wisdom than we do in different perspectives and different ways of seeing things. So open your eyes to all the different ways you can learn around you. Throughout this journey, every step of the way, you have to do the inner work. Your own healing journey is never, ever going to stop. It's up to you how far you take it. I have 2 mantras throughout life that I live by. What is this teaching me and how can I be of service today? What can I learn? How can I heal? What can I release or let go of? What is each interaction and instant connection with people having an impact in my life each day? That can be in person, can be online, can be from the TV. How does what's being said or done or what's going on in that show have an impact on who I am? How can we learn to evolve from what we're listening to, reading, absorbing? How can the energy and the information imparted on us by the people around us really get into the depth of our soul? A lot of this feeling comes from being reinforced by others, by idolization of having people and regular clients coming back to you, wanting you to literally live their life for you. This is not a great pathway to go down because you are absorbing their lessons and karmic retribution from it. Social media can also glorify aesthetics of self. You can get into this whole instant celebrity of, I'm the greatest person out there because I've said or done this. If you allow the ego to get out of control and you don't stay humble within, it is going to teach you harsh, harsh lessons. Always keep facing your shadows. When you turn around and face your shadow and bring it out into the light, the shadow disappears. It's about finding peace with it. It's not about denying it, letting it go, or being shameful with it. Yes, we have darkness inside us, and yes, we make mistakes and do the wrong things. And you know what? It's the best part of life. We want to be able to do that because that is how we get the greatest growth that we've ever had. You also need to surround yourself with wonderful people and great community. Throughout this spiritual awakening journey, I highly recommend finding someone who has walked the pathway before and having them to mentor you or teach you or share insights, books, podcasts, YouTube, videos, social media. There are so many resources out there of people that have already walked the pathway. Follow the right guidance. If it feels right with you, hold on to it. If it doesn't, let it go. You will find someone that aligns with your energy. It is up to you to seek out the right person that is going to be right for you and your growth. Trust me, your soul knows. Feel the energy of it. Allow it to sit within you. And when the connection feels right, follow it through. The other thing is that when you go seek a mentor or teacher, never make them the only one in your life. Please go and seek many mentors to learn from. It's about one of the only great things in the schooling system when you get to high school, where you have different teachers teach you different subjects. Go and learn mastery from different avenues and different masters of each portion of the spiritual realms, and especially the healing arts. Not everyone or one person has all the answers for everything. You want to go and find the insights from multiple people from their perspectives. It makes a world of difference. The other thing that will keep you in the humble aspect of this spiritual journey is to remember to drop the spiritual identity. I'm a spiritualist. I'm more special than you. I'm more awakened. I'm more connected to God. Everybody has the same source energy within them. Everyone has the same intuition within them. It's up to each individual how they put it to purpose and how they act on it to learn from it. So you're not here to perform at being spiritual. You're here to perform at being human, compassionate, loving, caring, giving. Those are the lessons in life. These are the interactions that we're here to be. You are here to remember to love, to serve, and to heal yourself and others. A lot of the factors that we really misalign with how the spiritual ego can show up in daily life is when we start to dismiss other people's pain as low vibration or excuse making. Your judgment of that is going to cause your lessons to rise up faster. It's a subject that not many people talk about, and I've seen it happen multiple times, and I've gone through experiences of it subtly myself because I've never fully bought into the ego side of things. I haven't been literally knocked down without connection, but I have gone through moments of silence. When we get too big for our boots and overcome in our ego, our higher self will step in and give us a harsh lesson. Nobody is better than anybody else. We are not here to be superior over others. We are here to learn and grow for ourselves. If your spiritual ego does get out of control and you fall into the falsity of godlike behavior, your higher self and source energy will disconnect from you. It creates a void. Part of this void can be mental health issues, depression, anxiety, emptiness, loneliness, or as I call it, the void. The emptiness and nothingness where you feel connected to nothing. It's like a numbness of where everything is outside of you. There's no connection within and you just feel totally lost within. When you go too far and you push beyond who you are, this happens a lot. And it happens in the form of a mental breakdown. And in society, you can see it all over the place. Unfortunately, we mislabel it and say this sort of thing happened to us, but it is something of our own creativity where our soul has done it to self to bring us back to true alignment within. It can happen before the awakening, during, or after. Some part of it can call it the dark night of the soul. Others can call it different aspects of things. It's where we fall off the pathway and we start going about things that are unhealthy for us. Unhealthy habits, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy vices. Your higher self is always there to bring you back into clarity and to put you on the pathway to the greatest success that you have. So if you go through this dark lull and you feel so disconnected, ask yourself the simple question, are you really here for this, or you're so disconnected from what your true purpose and passion is that you've lost your way? Have they walked away for you to find your inner self again and to find the belief of who you really are, where you've stopped pretending to be somebody else, where you've stopped allowing the ego to take over and you start riding the wave of your own greatness? Yes, we're all here to be great, but we're not here to be idolized or turned into gods for other people. This can show up in a disconnection from your spirit guides. You can lose your ability to channel. You can lose the ability of your healing gifts. You lose and disconnect from the energy around you. You stop seeing the beautiful spirits in nature. You feel this emptiness, this void, and disconnected from spirit and soul. It's quite a manipulative energy. And a lot of people then turn around and like to say, oh my God, I have the evil eye on me, or I've got bad luck, or demons are after me, all of this. No, it's your higher self setting you apart so that you can bury down some of that spiritual ego. Very famously, Doreen Virtue went through this. If you watch how she disconnected from spirit totally, how she's now gone back to say that angels don't exist and she's back connected with source spirit, it's because she lost her way in the egocentric aspect of being all to everything and forgot she was the medium and the channel for the greatness of God. Most people don't like to talk about it, and she certainly doesn't share it in that way. But it's part of her healing journey that she hasn't fully fulfilled. And if you look at a lot of the spiritual gurus out there, they stop. They disappear from life and they go off into the wilderness and they go and seek solitude because they have to continue that healing journey. It is all set before you. So one, you'll be forced to look at the shadow aspects again. So you will be able to go and heal the deep core wounds that you have, fully let go of the past and step into the true power of connectedness of God, of where we once again find gratitude for all God gives us. He is the master, we are not. Be very mindful of how it shows up, because it can come down to bite you on the ass so bad that you can't pull yourself out again. You do not want to have to lose everything and to start from nothing because you have overextended your ability and the claim of who and what you are. These are not moments of punishments. They are corrections and realignment to get you back on the true pathway of where you are. Unfortunately, there are many people that don't take it like that succumb to the mental health, and many and prominent people who end up committing suicide or leaving the planet due to these aspects. It can be a very harsh journey, but it is something that you manufacture and create from self, depending on where you sit on the ego status. And it's very hard to watch. I have been witness to it for a number of people over the years without fully understanding how it truly came to be. And when I went into meditation and I got told the true essence of the spiritual ego, I started to calm my own down so that I never lost sight of the fact that I'm a channel of spirit to God, angels, and the universe. This is not me. I'm just an open, connected channel. And I'm grateful, blessed, and honored to be so. I am of service to spirit. That is our goal. We are always in service. We are not magnificent idols and beings that are here to be worshipped. The only being on earth that is meant to be worshipped is God itself. We are not here to rise above others. We are here to remember our own greatness and rise above ourselves only. This is a personal journey. It's not about being better than anyone else, being number one, being known for everything. It's about your spiritual growth and evolution and ascension of your own connection to source energy and the greater collectiveness of the universe. There are so many portals and planes of existence and all different dimensions that we have the capacity to tap into throughout your spiritual journey. I know lots of them, and I know many, many more people who have so much more knowledge than I do too. I love to listen to them, hear their stories, and see their perspective on how they come into their journey. This is partially why I created this podcast, to share spiritual awakening journeys of those people out there. I am still sourcing many other people to interview and have interactive chats with, so you can see their perspective of life. Always remember, these episodes are just my perspective. I'm not telling you it's the only way. I'm not God. But these are lessons that I've learned along the journey. And I like to impart this wisdom so that you don't have to go through the same hardship that I did. We are never here to stop learning. And when you find yourself disconnected and in that dark place, it's where you need to ask, where did I stop learning? Where did I stop paying attention to what other people could give me and started to think that I only had the answers? As I said, I do believe all the answers are inside you, not for the universe. When we look at aspects of life where we need to have interaction for others, pay attention and then listen to your own inner guidance if that is right for you. If you love this episode, I'd really like it if you could follow and like and subscribe. I truly appreciate all the feedback. If you've had an experience of this happen, please let me know your journey. I really hope that you take on board what I've shared with you. I don't ever claim to say that you're stuck in your spiritual ego. I just want you to be mindful of it in your interactions with yourself and other people. Always remember, the moment you start to judge somebody else, that judgment is actually about self. It's your unconscious mind trying to get your attention. It's up to you what you do with it. Okay, true ascending is not about rising above others. It's rising above yourself. It's about remembering who you are, the connectedness and the collective energy of God's source energy, and the greatness that lies within. So let's keep our hearts open, our egos in check, and our journey honest. And remember, yes, the answers are inside you. The power lies within. If you ever need help, want to seek guidance, or are after a chat, reach out, connect, and email me. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.